Hello and welcome to this video on the walk-up experience. I'm your host, Liz Fasoni, a solution consultant from ServiceNow. Let's get started. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is how to administer the walk-up experience. And this refers to the physical locations. We have out-of-the-box portals or displays for certain scenarios. The first thing we need to do is select the location. So you might have multiple walk-up locations, and then open these tabs, and I've already opened them up here. And these will facilitate the different displays. So this would be where someone enters their name and joins the queue. Then we have the large TV displays that lets you know where you are in the queue. And we also have a quick tap survey. So just to drive that point home, I've turned on an iPad simulator so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so let's take the scenario that we want to check in, and I'll play the role of Pradeepa Navaratnaraja, one of my favorite personas. And the reason for visit is she wants to talk to student services. Okay, so that's that touch on the iPad. And also to show you the display, we can see that she's number 2 in the queue. Okay. And for the examples I'm going to show you in the future, I'm going to check in one more person. And their reason for visiting is, let's say, student services as well. Okay, so that's the experience at the physical location. Now we're going to shift gears and talk about the experience from a virtual check-in perspective. So they want to join the queue, but they're not necessarily on site yet. So we'll play the role of Julie Lewis, who's on the service portal. And here, of course, you can use that Google-like search bar to search for service catalog items, knowledge articles, and we can even surface external sources here. But what she wants to do today is actually check in. So we'll go straight there. Now there's some things that play in the background, which are very important. So if you do have multiple locations, we can default the location based on location services. So whether they're using a mobile phone or whether they've actually switched it on their browser, we can find the closest location and automatically place that here. So just to reflect what we saw before, we're going to check Julie in at the library location. And so what I mean by that is now we can see that same status in terms of who's being served, and remember we checked in as Pradeepa and Bin earlier. Now for Julie, if she wanted to check in as well, she'll need to pick a service or a reason for visiting. We might say librarian services, check in, and she has her place in the queue. So the other thing that's happening in the background are email notifications. So they will let you know that you've joined the queue and that you're coming close to the front of the queue. Now, Julie has changed her mind. She doesn't want to line up, so she's going to leave the queue, and notice that you can manage that. Notice that you can manage that within the portal. And instead, she wants to schedule an appointment. So we're going to flick the switch here and select that same reason. So it's for librarian services, and let's see what's available. So it looks like the only availability we have for this week is Thursday, and if Julie's not free Thursday, let's have a look next week. And it looks like at this location it's only open Monday, Tuesday and Thursdays. So it's entirely up to you how you want to configure it, and it can be based on location, you know, what days and times you're open, and also you can configure the timing of those appointments, so whether they're half hourly, in this case hourly. So what we'll go ahead with is, let's say I'll book 11 a.m. on Thursday, and then just click schedule. So as you can see, we have successfully scheduled the appointment, and that is locked in. And then an email notification will come out with the details of that appointment. So let's say it's a new day So we'll navigate back to the home page, and Julie realizes that she won't make that appointment, so she can manage it within the portal. So as she logs in, has a look at the walk-up check-in. So we'll choose that same location, and notice that it does have a message there saying we do have an upcoming appointment. And in regards to that appointment, rather than 11 till 12, we might reschedule that for just after lunchtime. Okay, so again, email notification flies out and says the new time, and we had that confirmation bar about that appointment reschedule. Okay, so let's shift personas now to John Jason. John Jason is one of the staff members at the walk-up location. So there's a few things that can come into play here, and I'll just quickly talk about, it's called advanced work assignment. And what that does is automatically assign tasks or any type of task, so interactions, cases, etc., to people based on their availability, so they are signed on to work today. It also assigns it based on location, so remember we do have multiple walk-up locations, and it can also take into account skills. So people might have particular skills and will, assign the work that requires those particular skills. Now, I haven't got that switched on because I didn't want these interactions to be assigned. So we're going to go with the manual method, and this way I can be a bit picky with which interaction I'll pick up. So the first one we're going to look at is Pradeepa's, and I'll just click that interaction record there. So I am available to take this interaction, so I'll click accept. And I'll quickly show you what that looks like on the queue screen. So we'll flick back there. Notice it's doing a quick refresh and it's showing that Pradeepa is seeing John. Okay, and then while Pradeepa makes her way over to me, I can actually have a quick look at her details. So Pradeepa, her student ID, which campus she's on, what she's studying. It shows here she's an international student. So here you have the ability to surface up any relevant detail about Pradeepa that you need in order to help her. And then let's say she has approached and she's referring to a case that she's already logged. So we can jump into the cases area and drill down into, let's say it's the prerequisite waiver that she wants to talk about. So here we're on the case screen. Again, we can see Pradeepa's details. There is a timeline showing, not a great deal has happened with this case, and it has been opened for some time. So it makes sense that Pradeepa's come to see us. We can have a look at the details of the case, but the most used area of the case screen is this activity section, where it does show that an incident has been associated with the case, which is more of an IT type of task. And it looks like Ned has mentioned, computer says no, something wrong with his access. Okay, and we can have a look at the history of everything that's happened to do with this case. So it looks like it's all been approved. We can have a look at the tasks and the things that we need to do as part of processing this request is approval records and then creating a waiver in a system called Amos. Okay, something else we can do while we're here on the case screen, okay, is the agent assist. So this can surface up details about resolved cases or similar open cases, but where I think I'll drill down on is for some knowledge articles, which if I was approaching this case for the first time and Pradeepa's asking me what the process is, I can actually talk her through it. So we can have a quick look at this article. In fact, let's make that a bit bigger. Okay, short and sharp article that says this actually requires 2 approvals. Nonetheless, we can handle that case, and if I have access to that system, perhaps I can actually accelerate this case completion, if you like. All right, so I'll close those down. Let's say I've handled the case, or sorry, I should say handled this interaction, and we'll close that now and Pradeepa walks away happy. Okay, just one more example and a quick refresh of this page. There we go, let's have a look at Bin's interaction, and we'll accept this one as well. And he approaches me, or he approaches John, I'll play the role of John, and he says he wants to change his study load. So again, we can look at his details, we can look at open cases, and we can also open cases on his behalf. So we're going to go ahead and create a request, which will actually bring up the service catalog. And if it is a case of changing study to part-time, there you go, you've actually got the context-sensitive help, or if I hit the enter key, we can see the result set there. So it's a course variation application that we need to fill in, and obviously fill in the details about bin here. And the way that this form's been developed is, you've got multiple things that you can do in one hit. It's entirely up to you how you design that form. Last but not least, let's show a bit of reporting. So close this down. And this is the out-of-the-box dashboard that's included as part of the walk-up experience. And it just shows, I guess, all the different types of charts and graphs that we can create in ServiceNow. So the examples are some scorecards, the exit survey. So we've got a 1 to 3, that's the sad face and happy face. We can see an average of those. The overall CSAT, so as well as the happy face, sad face, we've also got a survey that we can send. There are other types of graphs as well, so walk-up reasons, so we can find out there what's the most common reason people are walking up. Okay, based on those selections. We can see walk-ups by day of the week or by hour, so maybe that helps us determine the staffing requirements or what days we should be open for walk-ups. And the timing. So I always get asked, would we be able to surface this timing on the virtual check-in page or on the physical location on the say the TV screens? And yes, you certainly could do that, which is just show the time, in terms of an expectation of how long people might be waiting. So in the interest of keeping this video short and sharp, I'll stop there, but if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And thank you for watching.